Welcome back, True Seeker. Apologies, running a couple minutes late again. It's another live stream straight from the bed. Anytime my girlfriend's here, she's got the rest of the house taken, so I got to go to the furthest room from her to not interrupt her studies. So let's see here. We're going to talk about what's in the news. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Said a couple times now in recent weeks, we got to keep our eye on Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Will we see her pass or have to step down from the Supreme Court in the weeks ahead? And here we are. Big clue that is what is coming in the headlines today, November 8th. So we're going to talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, some of the recent stories that got us looking at this. Take a peek at the Jim Acosta versus Trump thing. Donald Trump, the two people he's considering for attorney general. I'll show you what's so funny about both of those candidates. Has a lot to do with Donald Trump's Looking Good #9 commercial, which we'll watch. Another 47 sighting in the news. We'll get there. And then, my, oh my, do we got to talk more about this Ventura County borderline bar and grill shooting? I mean, I don't feel like I've ever been mocked as much in one of these mass shooting stories. Have you guys seen the footage of the dance floor? On CNN, they were literally showing a completely empty bar. And the commentator said it was a packed dance floor with college students when shots rang out. And then so I was like, well, what are they showing? The bar after or before? And then all of a sudden you hear the gunfire in the back. And I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be the packed bar, packed dance floor when the shooting rang out? And there's not a single person in sight anywhere. The dance floor is completely empty. We'll get there. It's like, who do they think they're kidding? I mean, these shootings are definitely a litmus test to see who is just dead asleep, if anyone's still paying attention. And I just noticed Siri comes on every time I make a video now. Let's turn it off real quick. These phones, this technology we have around us, it's always listening, it's always watching. Anyway, let's talk about old Ruth here. Ruth Bader Ginsburg reportedly fell and broke 3 ribs. Not sure that's what's really going on, but let me show you what jumped out. Remember how they confirmed Kavanaugh by the numbers? They confirmed him October 6th, the same day in history that Anita Hill came out against Clarence Thomas with a sexual assault accusation. Again, just one more time, everybody has to know this. Gematria relevance. October 6th leaves 86 days left in the year. The name Kavanaugh equals 86. The name Thomas equals 86. The name Anita Hill equals 86. Sexual assault equals 86. What are the odds that he gets confirmed on that same date, you know, when he has to go through this whole circus, the accusations from Christine Blasey Ford and all the others. If you missed my work on the entire Kavanaugh process, you should check it out. Some of the best work out there to prove the relevance of Gematria. But anyway, from that day, October 6th, to Ruth Bader Ginsburg's fall, which was reportedly late last night, November 7th, Wednesday, a span of 33 days. 33. What do we know about that number? Masonry Federal Secrecy Order. Big numbers there in D.C. The federal government, the Masonic headquarters. Notice also the 4 weeks and 5 days in light of number 45 being in the White House. He's already put 2 men on the bench. I don't think the third is too far off. Ruth Bader Ginsburg with 3 ribs. You know? Ribs got those Gematria like Donald Trump. They both summed to 48. Speaking of the chump, from his birthday to her fall was the 147th day. And what do we know about that number? President of the United States equals 147. U.S. President equals 147. Freemason 147. Conspiracy 147. How many windows on the White House? 147. So what are the odds? As for Ruth herself, the fall came 33 weeks and 6 days after her birthday. Recall on Halloween, we just got this story. Handicapped girl gets national recognition. Her mother dropped her off as the notorious RBG. The girl was 9 years old, like there's 9 members of the Supreme Court. Remember when you add 1 through 9, it also sums to 45. 45 is the 9th triangular number. In light of the 4 weeks and 5 days after the confirmation, Ruth slips and falls. We pointed out that this tribute on Halloween, the national story about the handicapped girl who dressed up, it came 33 weeks after Ruth Bader Ginsburg's birthday, and she's born in 33. We also pointed out that the little girl who dressed up, Julia Talbot, her name summed to 33. We also pointed out that Julia Talbot had the gematria of 174 like Supreme Court. What are the odds? Also, September 3rd, do you recall that that was the week that the Kavanaugh hearings began? His hearings began September 4th, the day after this documentary that CNN put out on September 3rd in light of Ruth Bader Ginsburg becoming a member of the Supreme Court in 93, 25 years ago. Don't forget that judge and gavel equal 25. Don't forget that supreme equals 97, which is the 25th prime number. She's been a member of the Supreme Court for 25 years. Don't forget that death and time also equal 25. But September 3rd, CNN put out this documentary, and I was saying then, the name Ginsburg equals 97, like Supreme. September 3rd is the day leaving 119 days left in the year. Ginsburg also equals 47, the big number in DC. Judge also sums to 47, so does gavel. Judge and gavel are the exact same in all 4 base ciphers. Try that one out at Gematria if you weren't aware. But Ginsburg gets the documentary on September 3rd. They call her the Notorious. Notorious got that gematria of 47 and 97. There's judge and gavel right there. This thing about July 9th has to do with the day Kavanaugh was nominated. But this was the big one right here. Notice Ruth Bader Ginsburg with the alphabetic order is 194 and with the full reduction 86. From the day the documentary came out to her birthday, to her 86th birthday was 194 days. And I point out then, I said, that's really interesting how they sync this up with her 86th birthday in light of that being the number meaning to get rid of. You know, she's getting all this recognition in recent months. And now look, this is exactly what we were talking about. Blood sacrifice also equals 86. So that's my main commentary on RBG. It's news by the numbers. It's rituals by the numbers. There's a rumor out there that she actually had a stroke. I don't know if that's true or not. What's interesting is if you count the full span from her birthday to the collapse, it was 33 weeks and 6 days later. But if you count the full span, it was 34 weeks. Stroke does have that gematria 34. So we'll see if the story changes in the days ahead. They often do. If you cut this standoff between Jim Acosta and Donald Trump and you have Netflix, do me a favor. Go to House of Cards, Season 6, Episode 2. You won't have to watch more than 5-10 minutes at the most. Jim Acosta is acting in Season 6, Episode 2 of House of Cards. And he was also acting with the television actor Donald Trump and their little standoff that became the big focus of the news yesterday. And I noticed that Jim Acosta's 47 years old right now. Trump's 47, president's 47, White House is 47, government's 47, authorities 47, Republicans 47, Democrats 47, news is 47. And news is here to impact the mind's eye of the masses. When this standoff happened, it was Jim Acosta's 205th day of his age. All-seeing eye has that gematria of 205 in the base ciphers. Supposedly he got his White House press pass revoked. Just a big show. Just a daily distraction by the numbers. So what's going on here? What's going on here? You know what? I was going to do this and then watch the commercial, but let's just watch the commercial and then let's do this. All right, here's Donald Trump, 2009, talking about being born for the job in the same suit and tie, talking to Sheep on Pillars 11 and 9. Make sure I got the volume boosted here. Here we go.
So what do you think of my Trump home mattress collection by Serta? Finally, the same luxury and comfort I demand in my hotels.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to room 9.
Looking good, number 9. Looking good.
Where's your dignity?
Save now.
Looking good, number 9. Looking good. He does also talk to sheep number 1 in that. Don't forget that 1 as a word sums to 47 like Trump. Anyhow, it's all about 9. When you add 1 through 9, it equals 45. You had sheep 11 and 9 on pillars. Donald Trump announces the 45th president-elect on 11/9, November 9th, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Berlin Wall 45. Where's your dignity? Let me show you. It's right here in the Gematria. So, Chris Christie, fat bastard, from his birthday to today's news about him potentially becoming the Attorney General is 9 weeks later. You see that? 9 weeks. And then the other potential candidate is Pam Bondi, whose birthday is in 9 days. And recall, just yesterday, Matthew Whitaker became the acting Attorney General 9 days after his birthday. Are we to believe this is a coincidence? Of course not. These are the rituals by the numbers. Day after day. Pamela Bondi, 47. What do you know? Chris Christie, another guy with the Masonic numbers all over him. He's got the 113. His birthday is September 6th. Where's it at? September 6th. A date with 96 numerology, as well as 33, as well as 77. Do you know how Chris Christie was the first Republican running against Trump to get on his knees for Trump? I do. I certainly do. So anyway. And of course, yesterday, Jeff Sessions equals 47. He resigned 47 days from his birthday. And then later in the day, it turned out he was fired. The Apprentice equals 211, the 47th prime. What's the Apprentice's tagline? You're fired. You're fired. Looking good, number 9. Where's your dignity? We got another 47 story. Bus crash kills 47 in Zimbabwe. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? This comes on November 8th, 118, death 118 in Jewish Gematria. Coming up on the establishment of Zimbabwe's anniversary, November 11th. Don't forget that in Africa, there's 47 countries on the continent, not counting the island nations. 47. Who do you think colonized Africa this way? I'll give you one guess. Hopefully you know that logo. So now the main event. I want to review what I covered this morning because I went through this more thoroughly. I took more time. When I did it this morning, I literally crawled out of bed and was like, oh crap, I have 20 minutes till I got to take my lady to school. This needs to be out there. So I rushed through it, and it was an okay decode, but there was a lot that I missed. So let's go through it one more time, and then I want to talk about other things that I picked up on throughout the day. Oh my God. I can't believe, I just can't believe what they're trying to do here. And you know what else makes me sick? At the end of this, we're gonna take a peek at the beginning of this documentary that Vice News put out. Vice News, the same publication that wrote an article about me last year about this time, making fun of my work on the World Series, which I called perfectly. Anyway, Vice News put out a documentary, if you're not aware, calling us hoaxers. And it's a documentary about how the people online who are questioning the legitimacy of these shootings were hoaxers, and we all suffer from mental illness. Because, you know, if you look at the news and it shows you an empty dance floor with sounds of gunfire ringing out and the news commentators telling you that it was a packed dance floor when shots were fired, you're just supposed to nod your head and say, yeah, it was a packed dance floor with college kids everywhere when the shots rang out. As they're showing you like 30 seconds of footage and not a single person in the entire shot the entire time. I mean, it's like, really? Have we really? Is it really this bad? I guess they figured since we couldn't see the towers being demolished on 9/11, and then we believed that a boogeyman in a cave did it, they can just do whatever they want to us now. Seems to get worse every year. But anyway, here I am, the hoaxer, the mentally ill hoaxer who's noticed some really perfect patterns. In case you missed today's earlier work, they said that a lot of the people at this bar also survived the what is it? The Harvest Festival shooting of October 1st, 2017 in Las Vegas. A shooting that I called from the beginning of the year, by the way. I said, circle that date. We'll see the biggest false flag in the U.S. since 9/11, which is exactly what happened. How did we know that? By knowing the code. I also noticed in the Vice documentary, a news source that's obviously aware of me, they didn't put any of my work in their documentary exposing these shootings. And I don't think that's an accident either, because they went after a number of people. It's like, why didn't they go after me? Why didn't they go after my work and make fun of the number play, huh? I think it's because they don't want people to look into that. If they do, they'll probably find out it's undeniable. But anyway, from the shooting in Vegas, October 1st, 2017, to the shooting November 7th at the Country Western Bar was 1 year, 1 month, and 6 days. And why does that matter? Country. It was a country concert in Vegas. It's a country bar now. Country equals 116. And again, beyond country music, this is about propaganda for the nation. And it comes a day after the vote on November 6th for the 116th Congress, which will now be Democratic in the House. And, you know, the party that's looking to take more action in terms of who can and cannot possess guns. Expect more bills, you know, more background checks. How long until, there's a law that says the hoaxers can't own guns? It's probably not too far off, honestly. Jonathan Greenblatt's out there advocating for similar things. The you-know-who's usually get their way because the common people don't stand up to them, you know? Anyway, the shooting was at the Borderline Bar and Grill, another 116. The story is that the Marine who shot up the place suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, 116. Come back up here. Notice the 402 days as well. Lose the zero. In numerology, the zero doesn't count. It's a lot like 42. Borderline Bar and Grill sums to 181. So does post-traumatic stress disorder in our base ciphers. That's the 42nd prime. The 42nd prime. Freemason 42. Big number often in these shootings. Also, I had a former member of the LAPD reach out to me today, and they said what I needed to know about 110 is that in Los Angeles, this is code for a homicide. I know that in California, 187 is the homicide code, but I guess this is another code with the LAPD, probably other police departments as well, for homicide 110. So thank you to the LAPD officer who reached out today. You know, I often rant against police, but in the time I've been doing this, I've had a number of police reach out to me and say, hey, I'm no longer a police and you're right on the money. So maybe we can persuade some more police out there who currently have jobs to give up their badges and start speaking against the tyranny, because I know a lot of these police know the truth. Borderline Bar and Grill also has Gematria of 133, like Thousand Oaks, California, like Las Vegas, Nevada, where the October 1st shooting happened. Remember, government's 133. This bar was on Rolling Oaks Avenue. Rolling Oaks also 133. How about that? Borderline Bar and Grill, also Gematria of 367, the 73rd prime. That's a number that has to do with death and killing. It's also a number connected to the word Mason. And the police spokesperson today, if you saw him speak, you probably heard him say this was his last day on the job. He's retiring. So what a way to go out. Participate in some federal propaganda, probably get a nice big bonus for selling out the American sheeple. And, you know, off he goes into the sunset. Makes me wonder how much these people get paid to lie as they do. You know, is it 100,000? I hope it's at least 100,000. I mean, if you're gonna, you know, Really, I'd hope it's even more than that. If you're going to sell out the American people, I mean, you really shouldn't do it for any dollar amount. But I hope these guys don't just hope they just don't do it for nothing. Anyway, that word borderline, doesn't it just borderline? What's it make you think of? Like somebody on the cusp, you know? Just to go off on a tangent for a moment. Again, earlier this year, I was working for Uber and Lyft, driving a lot of people around, had to pay the bills. In Seattle, again, you work big hours, you can make $2,000 a week driving for Uber and Lyft. And one of the most memorable things from driving was picking up a former Marine in the middle of the night. It was probably at 1:30 in the morning. Came out, he just had a pair of shorts on. It wasn't that warm, walking around with no shirt on. He was in good shape, this guy. And got in the car with no shirt, just his gym shorts on. I said, "What are you up to, man? Where are you going right now?" I said, "It's pretty late." And he said, "I'm going to a kegger." I said, "Really?" I said, "Where at?" And he wanted me to take him to the homeless encampment in Seattle. He said that he heard there was a kegger going on down at the homeless encampment. And I said, "Oh, that doesn't sound like a very good idea, man. I don't think there's any keggers going on over there." He's like, "Oh, come on, man. It'll be an adventure." And then he was trying to persuade me to come with him. While we were driving there, he was just telling me how terrible his life is. He said, he's a Marine, did several tours, Afghanistan and Iraq, said he's done horrible things. You know, he made some statement about how he wishes he was dead. And, I tried to be supportive and, told him, I can't imagine what you've been through, but, stay strong, man. And I said, don't go out there and do anything stupid. And I really didn't want to take this guy to where he wanted to go, but he was like, I also didn't want to have some altercation in my car with him, And when we got there, he was really begging me to come with him into this homeless encampment to go look for this kegger. And I was like, "Dude, you know what? I'll turn off my meter right now if you just want to go back to your house." I said, "You can tell that nothing's going on at this place." It's like, "Come on, man. It's going to be memories out here." And I was just like, I have no idea what that guy went on to do that night. I couldn't get him to go back to his house. But he was just another example of, what this military machine does. He was around the same age as me, you know, angry at the world, you know, middle of the night, just looking to go make some mischief, mess with some homeless people. The dude had a knife on him too. That's the other thing I didn't bring up. I was like, what is this guy going to do? Go kill homeless people in the encampment? I didn't know what he was really up to. And, but that's the product of being, American, growing up in this system, getting taken as a child into the military, getting sent off to fight for a lie, kill innocent people, be guilty the rest of your life, be messed up. Notice again and again in these shootings, it's a former military guy, they say. And who knows what's really going on here? Doesn't look like any shooting happened here, but perhaps they did take some military veteran and set him up, used him as the patsy just to have a face for the story. Who knows? What I do know is there's a lot of people who are messed up in the head just because they got duped into serving in the military, which is no honor at all. So anyway, borderline, it also has that gematria of 102 and 60, like police, 60 and 102. They said he was 29 years old. Ventura equals 29. They also said the police officer who was killed was a 29-year veteran. This shooting happened on a date with numerology of 29. Go figure. This morning, news was torn on what his name was. Some stations were reporting Ian David Long. Others were reporting David Ian Long. It seems that everybody's now on pace just calling him Ian Long. Notice, it doesn't matter that the order's out. If it's Ian David Long, David Ian Long's going to have the same value. In the Vegas shooting, they said that 58 people were killed. And again, it was synced up with the sheriff and the mayor of Vegas. The mayor was 58 years old at the time. It was 58 days from his birthday. Anyway, always 58 in these events. David Ian Long, 58. Freemasonry, 58. Rosicrucian, 58. Secret Society, 58. In a moment, we're going to talk about the one witness, the father who lost his son, who said he's going to have a daughter born soon named Aurora. Remember, the shooter there was David Egan Holmes. Or maybe that isn't his name. When we get to his name, I have it in a future slide. The shooter's name in Aurora is also 58. It's a number they use again and again and again. The Sandy Hook shooting was on a date with 58 numerology. Sandy Hook equals 58. Number that comes up all the time. Number of the opposition. This name David Ian Long also has gematria of 68, or Ian David Long, 68, Thousand Oaks, 68, CIA, 68, Central Intelligence Agency, 117. Ian Long's 117. The father out there speaking, his name's 117. We'll get to it. But don't forget, CIA is also 13. And when you write out 13, it's 117. And this happened in LA 13. And it's synced up with the Route 91 Harvest Festival, which happened on the day leaving 91 days left in the year. When you add 1 through 13 together, it equals 91. 91's the 13th triangular number. Big number there to the Masons. This morning when some sources were reporting his name as David Long, it's now Ian Long, but this morning when it was David Long, just notice how it synced up with the police. Ian Long's even better. We'll get to it. Again, this happened in Ventura County. 29-year-old shooter, 29-year veteran of the police. Notice the 101 as well. Last year, the shooting was on October 1st. 10/1, the Jason Aldean concert. J's the 10th letter, A's the first, 10-1. And don't forget, Mandalay Bay Casino equals 101, Casino equals 101, Assassin equals 101. Not an accident. Ventura's also got that 88 and 43 like policeman. And supposedly the bar had 6 off-duty police officers in it. The first victim reported as a police officer. Again, the shooter was a Marine, the only branch of the government that has gematria of 33. The only 33, a number of sacrifice, the deadliest branch of the military to be in, the first ones that get sent in. The shooter's full name, also that gematria of 112, we're going to talk about that. Again, covered it pretty thoroughly this morning, but just going to make sure everyone's got it. Oh yeah, it was college night. College night 117 too. Supposedly he used a 45 to kill everybody. When you write out 13, sums to 45 in 2 of the 4 base ciphers. Notice 13 also sums to 99. This building, the building number is 99 for the address, which we'll get to. Last year, the shooting in Vegas had to do with Yom Kippur, the Jewish holiday about atonement for your sins, shooting up Sin City. Sin City equals 99 like Yom Kippur. This shooting on November 7th came on the day leaving 54 days left in the year. Notice college night's also 54. Here's the address right here, 99 Rolling Oaks Drive, Thousand Oaks, California. Totally synced up with last year's event, even the same people in the building. So, as a reminder about the 112 piece, Ventura County had an active shooter drill September 10th, 2017. Why does that matter? September 10th can be written 10/9, like 109, shooting equals 109, like military, like how they blame this shooting on a military man. Los Angeles is also 109. September 10th is also the day leaving 112 days left in the year. The shooter's full name, gematria of 112. The police officer killed, gematria of 112. And they said the shooting happened at 11:20 local time, 112. 112, the alt dialing code for 911. And again, I just got to make this point again. Doesn't this guy look exactly like Mitch McConnell, just a little bit younger? I mean, I can't help but notice. Ears are a little bit different, but the face is just, I would not be surprised to find out that these guys are completely related. And I already told that joke, so we'll leave it on the table. Anyway, November 7th, again, the 311th day of the year, leaving 54 days remaining. 311's the 64th prime. Law enforcement 64. Got to wonder if there's some Jesuit involvement in light of it being the day leaving 54 days left in the year. Jesuits have a lot of influence in this nation. That whole Supreme Court process with Kavanaugh was a big Jesuit show. I got to think of more Mitch McConnell jokes. Anyway, Jaron made a great observation here. He said the Los Angeles Rams practice in Thousand Oaks. What jumps out about that to me is Super Bowl equals 112, and it's coded all over this shooting. So it's also a span of 89 days from the shooting to the Super Bowl, and Los Angeles, California equals 89, the 11th Fibonacci number, like the 11 men on the field. Somebody texted me about the football game. Well, if he's on my Patreon, he should know that we called the Steelers to win tonight. Steelers had a nice alignment with Thursday Night Football to get that W. I don't know if it's over yet. So Deborah hooks us up with the LAPD information. And Troll of the Year, who I'm a big fan of already, November 7th equals 187, like the homicide code. Great observations here from some readers. Okay, that ding is just too much. How do I turn this down? How about this one right here? What do you think I'm going to say about this photo that they put out about the shooting? Who knows what I'm going to say? Who knows what I'm going to say? This was the top photo CNN had in one of their articles. I didn't even decode the names. I just couldn't get over the 44 there. The big shooting number. Shooting 44, gunfire 44, officer 44, kill 44. Think it was an accident that fire truck number 44 was on the scene in light of 5 years of showing how in these manufactured shooting incidents, they get the right emergency responder vehicles with the right numbers on the scene for the photo shots. These people speak in numbers. Hermeticism, numbers carrying that vibration for a number of death. You guys got to look up this this footage right here. You got to hear the news anchor talking to you. As they're showing this, you know, you're hearing the gunfire in the background. You're hearing somebody's voice say things like, "Oh, crap, get down. Oh, my God." And then the news person's like, "When the shots rang out, the college students were packed, over 100 on the dance floor." And I'm just like, what in the world? Is this the Emperor Has No Clothes? And if you've seen this footage, the camera's going back and forth. It's showing like this full area in here. There's not a single person anywhere. None. And the news person telling you the dance floor is packed. It's just like, okay. I mean, this is worse than Orwell. Oh my God. And then you got to watch Vice News's thing saying that people like us who question these shootings have mental illness. Oh my. Not a single piece of evidence to date that a single one of these tragedies reported has ever happened. Stories like Mason Wells, the Mormon missionary who survived the Boston Marathon bombing, the November Paris Bataclan nightclub attack. Can you imagine a Mormon missionary in a nightclub like that's going to happen? And also the Brussels, Belgium airport bombing, Mason Wells. Give me a break. I keep turning off this Siri. I should just let it come on every single time it does. It's like the 6th time I've turned it off during this video. I don't know what I'm saying that keeps bringing it up. I feel like it's messing with me. Just as a reminder, shooting in Los Angeles also have overlap with 37. That's the 12th prime. They're saying that the shooter killed 12 people plus himself. He's the 13th death. So I don't know if you've seen this guy, the supposed father of this guy right here. This guy has a bunch of young children and a baby Aurora on the way. And then he supposedly has a 22-year-old son too, which is possible. If this guy had a 22-year-old son, he probably had him when he was like 16. Obviously, this story is BS, but you hear him talking about all of his young children. He's got a lot of mouths to feed, this guy, and he's got another baby on the way. So I see where the motive is to get before the camera and give, a laughable acting performance, which is exactly what he did. If you have not seen this guy's fake crying and just how it's just pathetic. It's just pathetic. But I guess he interviewed right away after the shooting, and then he did it again later today when he found out his son died. The story early in the day was, he knew that his son's phone had been left in the club, and they were trying to track down his son. So they were real focused on the phone. Notice phone has the Gematria 58, the father, his name's Kaufman, worried about the missing son. 58 coded into the shooter's name, coded again and again. The son's name is CC. Those three initials, C's the third letter, CC 33. Cody Kaufman 51, like mass shooting. Remember, they just coded that all over the yoga shooting, if that isn't already down your memory hole. But the father's name is Jason Kaufman. Guarantee you this isn't his real name. One of the worst crisis actors I've ever seen, and that's saying something. They've now changed the shooter's name to Ian Long. They're just losing the David part, but we see why. Shooting's on November 7th. Ian Long shot up college night. They said that Cody up here was an umpire, and you can see that in the picture. Here's the catcher's mask. He's in his umpire uniform. Why did they bring up that he's an umpire? You think it's because it's all coded propaganda? Umpire 37, Los Angeles shooting. Getting 37, the 12th prime. Cody Kaufman's got the Gematria 48, like propaganda, like false flag, like hoax, like Freemason. Cody's got the Gematria 47. We talked about the 58. 45, when you write out 13, it sums to 45. The shooter used a 45. In this story, they're focused on the length of the clip. He also had on the Major League Baseball hat, right? Major League equals 45 in this same cipher. Again, 45 is the 9th triangular number. Baseball, 9 innings. LA just in the World Series by the numbers. It just makes you sick, man. And then he mentions that he's got his baby daughter Aurora coming on the way for another subliminal. Make you think of the Aurora Theater shooting hoax, synced up with the Sandy Hook shooting hoax. Don't forget that, by the way, in that documentary I was talking about, they said that anyone who questions Sandy Hook is participating in hate speech. When they deleted my first channel, the videos that they deleted my channel over were the videos that had been up since 2014 about Sandy Hook, which was a joke because I made about 2,000 videos since those. But if you're not aware, from the date of the Aurora shooting hoax to the date of the Sandy Hook shooting hoax was 147 days apart. And remember, in the movie Batman that had come out, it was the Batman premiere where they shot up the Aurora Theater. In that film, when it shows Gotham City for the first time ever, there's a big billboard that says Aurora. And also in that movie, they changed the map of Gotham City. There was, going all the way back to the early days of the comic, there was a neighborhood in the Gotham map called South Hinckley. And for that film, they changed that neighborhood from South Hinckley to, guess what? Sandy Hook. You think that was a coincidence? And then 147 days apart, the two false flags, Freemason 147, conspiracy 147, not an accident. And speaking of the 112 all over this shooting, don't forget, Sandy Hook equals 112. Dylan, or it wasn't Dylan Stormroof, what was his name? Adam Lanza, born on the 112th day of the year. They said Adam Lanza weighed 112 pounds. Not accidents. 112, the alt dialing code for 911. And as a reminder, who's responsible for this agenda, what happened at the yoga shooting recently? This was the one shot they gave us. This was the evidence of the yoga shooting. Are you believing it? Both of the victims' names equaled 51, like mass shooting. They had the goy up in the window. They had to give us the goy straight out of Florida, you know. They had to goy us. Because truly, you got to be a goy to fall for any of this. Where was it? Where was it? I want to show you guys this footage so bad, but I'm just suspicious of them claiming copyright strikes. Here's something you got to do. You got to check out this documentary right here, The Rise of the Crisis Actor Conspiracy.
This is supposed to be a man of God, but yet he's told the whole world that 26 people died in his church when he's no.
So this guy right here that they used in this documentary, he goes by the name Sidethorn. Let me show you what's up with the name Sidethorn, actually. He's controlled opposition. This guy is an asset of the establishment, and they use him to make the community look bad. His name's Sidethorn. So he's got that 112 coded into it too. This guy's been exposed. He's used throughout this documentary to make people questioning these shootings look ridiculous. But hold on, I got to get this in here. Do I need to put up the fair use thing first? Hold on, maybe I got to put this up before I do it. I don't know how other people get away with it. Is that big enough? Can I do it now? Are we in the fair use territory? Here, I got to get this kid in here that I want a cage match with this kid. Watch what this kid has to say. You know who this kid is. Watch what's coming up here.
Nobody died. He's a liar. Let's go, Frank. Let's go polygraph right now. I've got a man.
By the way, what this guy's doing right here is he's at the Sutherland Springs shooting, which was a hoax. Remember, that's where they said 26-year-old shooter, 26 dead, date numerology at 26. Church shooting, 26. If you haven't read my book, the first chapter is why are there 26 letters in the English alphabet? Has everything to do with religion. It's not an accident that there's 260 chapters in the New Testament. But anyway, one fraud here versus another fraud, and they use this guy to make us all look bad. I would like, you know what? Maybe I will go to this church and confront this guy because I have the actual facts to show what a hoax this was. But anyway, here we go.
Man in San Antonio.
Comment you just made, knowing my 14-year-old daughter's laying.
You're a liar, Frank. You're a filthy liar, Frank.
You know?
You're a demon, Frank. You should be able to provide the evidence more than anybody on this planet. This guy should be able to provide evidence of a death that happened at this church.
We've had to learn to deal with these sick fuckers that are saying this stuff, that are out there claiming that we're not real people, claiming that we're actors. We don't give a shit what you say. We're not afraid.
Dude, I cannot explain to you how bad I want to see this person face to face. Oh my goodness. Listen to him talking tough sitting next to his mom. And then they have his mom later in the documentary. Here, I'm going to link this in the chat if you haven't seen this before. Then they get his mom in here later talking tough. And she says she had to go to the FBI to get help. And it's like, wait a minute, your husband is the FBI. Here's the link to that documentary. Just linked it in the chat. Hey, you see this guy in the chat right here, James Blizzard? That's our man Jerry. Jerry's our guy who went to the town of Sandy Hook and raised awareness. He's trying to get more people subscribed to his channel right now. He's going by the channel name James Blizzard. So if you click on his channel and subscribe there, he's about to start live streaming. And Jerry, oh my God, I can't think of his friend's name right now, but both of them make great content and they're worth listening to. And if you're looking for more people speaking facts, channels to look into. Also, just as a reminder, if you are on Facebook, aka Zio Book, check out Daily Dose of Gematria. Daily Dose of Gematria is trying to build up the amount of people using this page and spreading the work. So I got some more friend requests. But Daily Dose of Gematria, it's a community of people talking Gematria, sharing Gematria, and they want more people there. And they're also looking for people to help moderate the page. So Daily Dose of Gematria, if you're on Facebook. Let's come back to the chat. Dozokar, like the Joker. Yeah, and Dozokar's got the 33 birth numerology and a whole lot more coded into his name. Looking for truth. You said Jerry who? The guy right above you, James Blizzard. His real name's Jerry. I'm sorry if you didn't want me to put that out there. It's too late now, Jerry Bear. But be sure to sub his channel. Always doing good work over there. David Hogg is just the biggest piece of shit on the planet as far as I'm concerned. And I don't care how young he is. He needs his ass whooped. And God, if Facebook's out there ready to censor, I mean, grow some fucking balls. If that little piece of shit can get on here and mouth off and say all the things he said, I mean, he said he's going to outlive all of us who are exposing this tyranny. I consider that a death threat. Does he mean he's going to outlive all of us? Oh, okay. You guys want the Gematria hotline number? I got to tell you, I'm overwhelmed with how many text messages were sent when I first put it out. So you guys, when you respond to this, I'm just reading the messages. Don't necessarily expect a response back. I'm just looking for you guys to send me tips and things to look into. But I got bombarded with text messages when I put out the number. There were literally like 400 text messages that came in that day. And I was like, whoa, I thought only 100 people were watching this live stream. But then the Gematria effect text line is 509 731 0567. Here, I'll write it in the chat. Don't call me on it, just text me. And what you're supposed to text me about is like if there's something that I need to be covering. Have I covered Palantir? I don't know what that is. Let me see. Checking it out. Palantir. I don't think that's what you want me to look up. There must be more to that. I haven't covered it, though, because I don't even know what it is. Oh, my God. I got to get his face off the screen. I did see that headline. I actually meant to look into that. Here, let's just do it now. I mean, 80 football fields a second. What's going on there? Oh, snap. Whoops. Oh, I guess I can even read my text messages through the computer. That's cool. Let's see here. Fire, Northern California. Seems a little bit late in the year for a fire like this, wouldn't you say? Comes on the night of Thursday Night Football. Campfire, huh? What town is this going on in? Close some of these windows. I got too many windows open here. The word tragedy is 80. You know, Bavarian Illuminati is 80. Butte County. Where's the name of the town? From Polga to Concow and down to Paradise. 26,000 people. 85 miles north of Sacramento. Let me think about this. 1937. Today doesn't have the normal fire gematria. Butte County. Butte's got that gematria 67, the 19th prime. We do have 19 date numerology, the chaos number. But I don't see the normal fire numbers in this. Chaos 26, what'd they say about 26,000? It's near Chico. Chico's got the fire gematria. Chico, see that? Fire, Chico. 3 of the 4 ciphers. Yeah, there's got to be some riddle with that. I'll think more about it. We got 430 on the stream, but we don't have very many likes. I do see that. Thanks, Goldwyn. Appreciate the compliment. Yeah, very possible that they're experimenting with technology when they set these fires. Oh, so this Palantir is some sort of technology, huh? All right, here. I was meant to see your comment because it skipped down right when you wrote it. Big data analytics. Well, we're already making sense. This sounds like the mass surveillance stuff. Headquartered in the... Okay. I'll look more into this. This is news to me. Here, let's look at what their company name Gematria is. Ha! All right. I'm already convinced. 223. Game over. I see what they did there. Well, thanks, Cheyenne. You're new here, but you've made a bunch of valuable comments. Good to have you on board. Jeremy's saying it's time for me to make some phone calls down to Ventura County. You know what I was actually planning to do for my phone calls tomorrow was calling Pepperdine to see if I can come down there and have a hoaxer convention. If we could get some room for us crazy hoaxers, because we think we got a story to tell. So I was planning to call Pepperdine tomorrow. And hey, my UCLA friend, I'm still waiting to hear back from the UCLA person who called into my show weeks ago. They said they were going to look into getting me a venue at UCLA so I could speak there. Now would be a great time for that to happen. I'll come down there tomorrow, literally. If you can get me a venue at UCLA, I'll be there tomorrow. But LA is not too far from me. I could even get in my car and drive there in a day. I've done it before. However, crossing the mountains this time of year can be sketchy. Somebody else representing the 509. I think you can only see the amount of likes from when you entered the video. I think if you refreshed your screen, it'll show you the current likes. On mine, it shows we're up to 200. That means 230 people don't like the video. Tucker Carlson's being protested. Why do I hate Tucker Carlson? I really don't like Tucker Carlson, but you know, at this day and age, he's probably become one of the best people on news because he's the only guy that's on cable news who talks about the censorship, which is hard for me to believe that I now think Tucker Carlson might be the best pundit on cable television, but he's always just been such a tool, that guy. And I mean, have you ever seen how he talks about people who question 9/11? He's pretty much into censorship himself, but at least he speaks against what Google and YouTube have been doing. Thomas Taylor Rose says he needs a woman that knows Gematria. Well, maybe you can find her here in this forum tonight, because outside of here, there's probably not too many others. Marty McSuperfly called the sheriff, but he didn't hear back from the deputy. Maybe we should make a song. Marty's got the vocals. Ether Delta. That's another thing I don't know about. Let's see. Ether Delta rated. Cryptocurrency thing, huh? I got a lot of people calling into my radio show lately telling me I need to start my own cryptocurrency, but I'll tell you what, I'm way out of my element. You're out of your element, Donnie. I'm not the guy. All these guys calling in telling me to do this. I'm like, can you guys do it for me? I mean, I don't like to ask people to do stuff for me, but I don't know anything about starting cryptocurrencies. That's just a realm I have no experience in. So somebody said they just sent a text message. Yeah, you and 20 other people. This list is growing here. Yeah, George Bush is still hanging around. The ultimate mocking date for him to go would be on November 18th, the 322nd day of the year. Last night I had a caller call in. He thinks he's going to go 11/11. His days are definitely numbered. November 18th will also be 43 days after Barbara Bush's wedding. His granddaughter, Yale's 43. November 18th leaves 43 days left in the year. Cheyenne Brown knows exactly what I'm talking about. One of my favorite movies of all time. I guess you're not a bowler. When do I think the fake alien invasion will take place? I'm not one of the people who thinks that's going to happen. I mean, anything's possible, but I don't think that's the direction things will go in. I mean, just look at today's news. They already got us. They can show an empty dance floor and tell you that hundreds of college kids are on it while they play, sound effects of gunshots that don't even sound real. And then they expect no one to question it. And no one does. Oh my God, Christos. Do you see this guy who just did the super chat in here? Christos, you better be a millionaire, man, because you donate so much money to me. And I always tell you, man, enough. You're just too generous over there. I'll tell you what, if everyone was as generous as Christos, I'd be the richest man in the world. I'll tell you that much. Christos, I really hope you're a millionaire, dude. I don't know where you get with all this money from. But thank you very much. It's always appreciated. Yeah, I mean, you guys, if you have not seen the news footage today of them talking about the packed dance floor while there's no one on it, I mean, it's just like, there's just nothing more to say. There's nothing more to say. But really, it's a slight evolution of what's been happening. It's like how after Sandy Hook, they apologized the day after for showing you footage of a drill at a different school that wasn't actually Sandy Hook. I mean, that should have been the red flag right there for everyone. Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. I think this day we live in, there's like more people on the planet than there's ever been, but there's also more lonely people than there's ever been. Even though there's, this technology that in a way keeps us all together, we're just so isolated. It's just we live in the craziest of times. What I keep thinking where I live now is there's all this empty farmland. There's all this empty farmland for sale. And I keep thinking, what if we set up some solar panels on this farmland and just create this independent community with our own energy? We get some wells. We make it the truth seeker colony. Is it possible? Could people live together, get along, have a code of ethics? This place I'm at right now is not a bad place to do it. There's a river here. It gets cold here in the winter. It's the high desert, but it would not be a bad place to set up such a thing. So it's a good place for growing crops. It's a big agricultural town. So, well, it's a small town, but there's a lot of agriculture. The Boule Society. I can do the Boule Society. I'm not going to do it right now, but yeah, I can work on that. Jerry says, you set one up out west, I'll set one up out east. Well, it's going to take some resources. I don't have the resources to start it myself right now. So they brought Ruth back to the hospital, huh? Oh yeah, absolutely. Andrew says if we did that, we could grow hemp and produce CBD. Yeah, we could do all sorts of things, man. Uh, you know, my friend who I moved out here, my buddy who I used to run the grow operation with, he moved back to this same town a year before I did. This is where he's originally from. And he's got a nice little garden and he's growing food there. And I was impressed by how much food he can grow in just a pretty small area. It just made me realize that if you have one of these massive fields, you could really grow a lot of food and sustain it for a lot of people. So yeah, it's something I'd like to do. There's a huge plot of land for sale right next to where I live right now, 54 acres. And just looking at that thing, I was like, man, you could grow so much food on that. A lot of people could live here and take care of this. But I don't know how many people really want to do that. So imagine though if you had your own energy source, your own water source, your own food source, and a community that you could trust. That's what you would need if they ever decided to pull the power plug on us. But in that kind of world, your community would be targeted because you'd have all the resources that everyone else wanted. So Star Rose says the government would kill people if they try that, Zach. Well, maybe. But if you did it in a way that you weren't posing a threat to them, I don't know. The government absolutely wants to control us. That is their whole thing. It's all about total control. But I don't know. I really do think that eventually what they are going to do is pull the power plug on this country and leave people to defend themselves for a while. And it won't be a pretty time to be in this nation. I'm hoping that's still decades away, but I think they're going to do that to us at some point. Oh, people know about Maine. I dated a girl from Maine for a while. She was really cool, this artist type. I've heard Maine in Vermont are beautiful places to be this time of year. So that the Waco thing was the Waco thing. If you guys haven't read my book, the whole David Koresh and all that, Waco was something different. I think that entire thing was a government operation. The chat's skipping around. I miss people's comments. MK Ultra says, "Aren't we supposed to be controlling the government?" Yeah, but obviously we know that's not the way it is. Somebody did a super chat. Thank you, Brian. Very generous. Appreciate it, brother. He says, "Keep up the work. It's spot on." I wish everyone felt that way, you know? Barney Yarnum says, Terrence McKenna told stories about shootings with the police on their ground. I think you were responding to something else. Oh, there was another super chat here, but I never saw a notification for this one. How come it didn't give me a notification? Thanks, Eric. Hope I didn't miss anybody else's like that. Not that I'm trying to miss anybody's comment, but that's weird. I didn't see any notification for that one. Pete says he'd help work the fields. Me too. I actually love working outside. I even like weeding. Sometimes I just want to be a landscaper, you guys. Honestly, if I could choose between making truth videos like I do and weeding people's yards, I'd rather weed people's yards, honestly. I don't mind working and mowing lawns and stuff. I even like doing it as a kid. In fact, I didn't want to go to college. I just wanted to continue with my landscaping business. I had my own little landscaping business when I was in high school. But mama wanted me to go to school. So that's what we did. I just like working with my hands and being outside. The somebody says, isn't there a lot of tribal land in Yakima? Just south of here there is. Jamie Day says they just found the channel and I'm their favorite YouTuber. Well, that's very nice of you, Jamie. I hope it stays that way. Or if not your favorite, I hope you just stick around and enjoy the work for some time. Yeah, you know, I wish Adam Green was down for the cause because he's got great video making skills. And my biggest frustration is the whole time I've been here, I've been trying to get other people in the truth community to work with me instead of against me. But it seems like everybody just wants to go against me, and it drives me nuts, honestly. The Hunger Games movie franchise. Well, I'm not the right person to speak about it because I actually haven't seen any of those movies. But from what I understand is, it's sometimes set in the future, and it's kind of like a dog eat dog movie. So probably a foreshadowing of what it would be like here if they pulled the plug on us. Jason says he thinks the solar panels were a hoax. They're not, Jason. Solar panel technology's come pretty far. If you get $10,000 worth of solar panels, you can take care of most of your electricity bills. Well, I mean, it depends on where you are, how much sunshine you get, but solar technology has come quite a ways in recent decades. So you put out some solar panels out here in a sunny place like this, you could harness a lot of energy. All right. Have you guys seen the Economist cover that comes out this November 30th? The year 2019. Somebody pointed this out to me earlier today. I'm going to do some more work on this, but where is it? Right here. The New Economist, The World in 2019 comes out November 30th, 2018, and not by accident that day. You know, this is the cover that's had some very interesting covers in recent years. November 30th. It's got that 113 in it. 11 plus 30 is 41. Look at Economist, 113 and 41. Plus, that date also has a life lesson number of 52. The World in 2019, 52. Day that leaves 31 days left in the year, the 11th prime. The word black's 11. The cover's all black. And when I first started this work in 2013, if you go back and read my earliest blog post, the way to do that is to go to my blog, Free to Find Truth, and scroll down. You can minimize this, makes it easier, and then go to 2013, October. The very first post right here is about how Janet Reno said that the next 9/11 was not a matter of if but when, but it would be the national power grid going down, a major blackout in the US, and wrote a really long post here with all sorts of information. And I talked about in this post how there's all this popular fiction set in the Carolinas for this big blackout, but it doesn't necessarily mean it'll be there. But from TV shows to books to little documentaries, or not documentaries, but like realistic type movies, focusing on that area with a blackout. So Waco should be decoded. You should read my book, man. Waco's been decoded for a long time. I had videos on Waco in 2014. Waco 42, plus a whole lot more. David Koresh, Agent 33. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate the chat or the donation. So Justin writes, wife thinks I'm insane, want to teach my kids, need advice. What do you do if you are married and Gematria has created a wedge between you and spouse? Well, I mean, you got to, okay, look, you have a wife and kids. I would say priority one there is keeping the family happy and together. I don't know what it is that bothers your wife about Gematria, if it's just the fact that you're even interested in it bothers, or if it's when you talk about it, it bothers her. If it's talking about it that bothers her, I just wouldn't talk about it around her, you know? The family is number one in your situation. And I don't know. I mean, just so many people in this world are just closed off to truth, and especially this subject. It's like my girlfriend and I, we have a really good relationship, but she's not so much into truth either. And she thinks my work sometimes is kind of interesting, especially, you know, when we call sports games, right? And that type of thing. But, you know, she doesn't want to talk about it. So it's not like I don't really have many conversations with her about my work. And we just talk about other things. And I saved the Gematria for, you know, my own research time and presenting it to you guys. So it's like if you have somebody else in your life that you can talk about this with, because it's nice to be able to talk to people about things that you're into, maybe do it with them and just, you know, pretend like this topic doesn't even exist when you're around your wife. So, I mean, I wish it wasn't that way, but that's at least how I would handle the situation. So. And then the next hard thing is if you want to teach your kids about it, but your wife doesn't want them to know about it. I don't know. My philosophy is, you know, if you're in a relationship with the lady, you got to keep the lady happy. So maybe something will happen in the future that she'll be curious in, and you'll be able to give her the Gematria angle, and that'll open her eyes. I believe it was Miss Mildred who said earlier today that if you keep showing this to the people around you, they'll eventually come around. If it wasn't Miss Mildred, it was somebody else. Somebody told me that today. She said her family members were slow to come around, but now they can't deny it. So maybe just ease up on it. Over time, the wife will come around. It's possible. Yeah, we've been talking about Ginsburg. I covered Ginsburg at the beginning of this presentation. I showed how her collapse, her fall, had to do with again. Just real quick, the Ginsburg fall came a span of 33 days from Kavanaugh being confirmed, and on Trump's 147th day of his age, where U.S. president's 147, president of the United States 147, Freemasons 147, conspiracies 147. So Lilith says I lied by saying number 6 has to do with perfection. It does have to do with perfection. 6 is the first perfect number. It's why mankind's made on the 6th day in the Bible. 6 has other meaning as well, but 6 does symbolize perfection. So all numbers are dualistic. Yeah, that Get Out movie does equal 88. I noticed that right away because that movie came out in the time of Trump, and yeah. Saradwin says, please hit the like button. It is true that when you hit the like button, when a video has more likes, when it has more comments, it shows up in more people's feeds. But I know YouTube's doing a real good job of keeping my videos out of people's feeds these days. We haven't had any big views for about 2 months now. It's funny, just Wednesday night, or no, it was Tuesday night. It was Tuesday night. I was saying that I want to get out to Pittsburgh and make a mini documentary before the next big shooting happens, and it's down the memory hole. And now it's like, oh, there's already another big shooting. Probably won't have to wait long until there's another one, because it just seems like with every passing week, these things come more and more frequently. I haven't got a single person in my own family to read my book yet. No one's read it. And my mom said she tried to share the link from my book in our I'm banned from my family's my larger family. My mom has a lot of siblings and they have a lot of children. They have this thing on Facebook called the Strawberry Patch. I'm banned from it, but my mom tried to share my book in there and they deleted the post. Oh man. So that's funny that Justin wore number 6 and number 28, the first 2 perfect numbers. And the word number is 6 letters. And in Gematria, in the most pure cipher, number equals 28. If you just write out number and perfect with the alphabetic order, they both sum to 73 as well, which is interesting. The third perfect number is 496. 496. That's very cool, Jamie. I don't know if I should be putting Derek's secrets out there, but he's been dating a girl lately that's into the truth. She's into the number stuff, so Derek might have found a good match out there. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know if Derek told anybody. But of course, Derek ran the numbers on the relationship, and his mind was blowing. That's why Derek's been making less videos lately. But hey, that's a good thing, you know. I'm still waiting for Derek to tell the story about the lady I set him up with in Las Vegas. It didn't go so well. Yeah, my family is a bunch of haters. An episode about Family Guy with the Redskins and the Patriots. Huh? Yeah, I saw that Simpsons clip with the genocide comment. That was something else. The next synagogue shooting. Oh my goodness. What'll come first? The next synagogue fire for insurance money or the next synagogue shooting? That's okay if you can't send a super chat. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I'm still waiting to see if Facebook even really gives any of this money over. When you hit the like button, you get doxxed. I don't know. I don't know. The Rockefellers and Rothschilds. I used to have some good videos on the deaths in the Rockefeller family. I think that they're really the same family, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. Did you know this about the Rockefeller family, right? Their name, I have to remember that name right there. I don't want to get rid of that screen. Rockefeller with the alphabetic order is 110. They were and notice the 187 too, don't forget that. But the World Trade Centers, buildings 1 and 2 were 110 stories tall. They're the ones who got the World Trade Center project rolling. And don't forget that building 7 was 47 floors tall. Buildings 1 and 2 were 110. They were blamed on Osama. Don't forget that 119 weeks after Obama took office, Osama was found dead. Osama's father supposedly died in a plane crash September 3rd, the day leaving 119 days left in the year. Brian says knowledge can be depressing. It can also be uplifting, though. Somebody said, can I stop telling stories that are in the book? It's a spoiler. Well, hey, sometimes it's good to hear these things more than once to make them stick. So, you could always finish the book and then come back and watch my videos. There's tons of things in the book that I don't normally talk about, though. I mean, there's a lot of nuggets in there that you've never heard me speak on before. What do the numbers say about the Thousand Oaks hoax? Well, I went through it pretty thoroughly in this video, and I did put out 2 videos earlier talking about it. So when I'm done with this, just watch it over from the beginning. You get about 10 minutes in, we'll be on the Thousand Oaks, and it says just that it's an HOAX. Look up Geordie Rose. I know about CERN. I know all about CERN. Let's see. Geordie Rose. Demons are coming. Okay, well, this is what a lot of people say. CERN, like CERN's going to unleash the demons. I'm not so sure about all that. I'm not so sure about all that. I don't know everything though, but yeah, for years people have been saying that about CERN. I know how they brought that thing they call the God particle into existence with that thing. At least they claim to have. I used to have a video on it. Somebody writes, numbers are beautiful energy. I think that's what it all comes back down to. You know, everything's energy in this world. Again, if you don't like watching children's cartoon type movies, you got to make an exception for one movie. You got to watch Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc. came out right after September 11th. I used to have a video on this movie. Came out November 2nd, 2001. Now I see the relevance of that, you know. The alternate dialing code to 911 is 112. In this film, so what this film's about is how these monsters, how they need energy and they harvest it from children by scaring them. And in the film, when all the monsters come out in a line, there's this scene when they're all like walking onto the scene. There's a big clock in the background and the hands are on the 9 and 11. Shortly after September 11th, this film came out. How many days after September 11th is that actually? I'm curious. I'm curious what they did there. So it's 52 days after, or a span of 53 days. You know what's up with 52, right? Terrorists. Terrorist. There it is, 52. I see why they did that. Scaring the people. They need the energy. And what happens at the end of this movie, you know, it's a movie, so it has a happy ending. At the end, the monsters discover that if they make people happy and laugh, it produces even more energy. And it's like, well, why can't the tyrants who made this movie realize that? Of course, it's easier to control us when we're all negative, when we're all down in the dumps. Predictive programming in movies like 23 and Rain Man, perhaps. The number 23 definitely alludes to this code. If you've never seen the number 23, that film with Jim Carrey, there's this silly scene where he's explaining how pink equals 23. And he could just explain it, P's the 16th letter. The numerology of 16 is 7, I is 9, etc. But instead he does this crazy abstract thing and makes it sound so bogus. But pink really does sum to 23. If you haven't seen the number 23, it begins with a dog named Ned. And Ned with the alphabetic order is 23. If you watch that film with your Gematria vision on, you'll see a lot of things in that film. Wait a minute. I'm confused by Jeff's comment. He must be talking to somebody else. Hi, Sarah. This guy needs to be interviewed at your earliest convenience. Zachary K. Hubbard, his channel is Gematria Effect News. Please do the American... Who are you talking here? Is somebody here that can help us out? Do we have some... I see that Gold Win has been deleted. He must have been saying some stuff. Delaware has 33 named Gematria and was established December 7th, 1786, what became Pearl Harbor Day. The reason Delaware was established December 7th, 1786, it's a date with 33 numerology, and December 7th can be written 12/7. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 127. If you guys were listening to my radio show last night, here, I'll link something else in the chat. Is this the right one? No, that's not the right one. Where did I put it? Maybe I put it over here. I must be here. I got to link something else in the chat. Bear with me a second. What? I swore I bookmarked this. Let me see here. Everyone should watch this too. Let me find it here. Whoops, that's not what I want. Royal Freemason, Halloween 2017. Right here. You guys got to watch this mocking. I'll link this in the chat. Here's something else to watch later too. Marty always with the jokes. Let's see. Gregory, you don't need to change your name. None of these numbers are bad. I'm just showing you why they use the numbers. But the numbers can have other meaning. Like, for example, another meaning is your music alias. And your music alias is probably cool. So it's not like these numbers belong to these people. I'm just showing you why they use them in their rituals, because that's what the symbolism is to them. Quiche Spaceship Foundation Institute. Okay, I got it. I got a list of things here to check out. Have I heard of Enter the Stars? Enter the Stars was another guy who, when I started making videos, I reached out to because I thought his work was interesting and similar to mine. And he ignored me. So I would leave comments in his video, just like trying to supplement what he was talking about. And I know I had an influence on him for a while because back in 2014, he started to get into the number 47 and he started to do work on 47. And I'm trying to think what the other channel is who ended up being a shill. The Scariest Movie Ever. He had one of his podcast videos where he had me and Enter the Stars on. Enter the Stars' name is Casey. The guy who runs that channel, his name's Casey. He had both of us on at the same time, and at that time I was hoping, because I didn't know who was who. I hadn't really followed any of these people, but I was just looking for other people who were making video content who would collaborate. And pretty much everybody in YouTube had better video making skills than me, including both of them. So I was looking for somebody who could help take what I was doing and give it more visual appeal. And anyway, shortly after we were together on that podcast, Casey put out a video saying that he thought I was a demon trying to take him off his path. And I was like, what in the world? I mean, I thought I was having like a positive impact on you. I know that you just started doing this 47 thing because I tipped you off on that number. And then anyway, after that, I just realized he was kind of a wackadoodle guy. And I don't know what to think about him, but I haven't really paid attention to him since way back when. So it's been like 4 years since I really looked at his work. But yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, Jim Carrey really has become a terrible person, the way he mocks truth. And he's a strange man, that Jim Carrey. Somebody says it's interesting that more people don't upload your old videos. Well, part of the problem is most of my old work's been flagged. So if you try to upload it, you'll get a strike and your video will get deleted. You know, it's already in the YouTube database as flagged material. All right, I'm going to check out that Rose person, get some more information on that. Well, the thing about my family is my mom's already the black sheep of the family. So ever since birth, I've been treated like the baby of the black sheep. I wish I had a picture of my mom's senior high school photo. She went to a really tiny school in the middle of North Dakota, this tiny town you've never heard of called Esmond, like population 100. But it's funny. All of the kids in her class are standing like tight together, but my mom is on the side, spaced out away from them, and she's wearing I don't know what she's wearing. I mean, honestly, her outfit looks like she's a SS officer or something. I was like, where did you even get that? And it's just a funny picture. I'm like, you really were like the rebel badass outcast in your little high school class there. You can just see it in the photo. But anyway. According to Albert Pike, yeah, the Third World War is supposed to be against Islam. You guys, when football season's over here, as sad as it is to say, a lot of my time's taken up each week decoding football games because there's a lot of people who follow me for that. When football season's over, I'll have a lot more free time, and I'm going to pump out about 100 to 150 page book that'll pretty much be the best of what's in my bigger book, plus with a few more new nuggets that I've learned since writing it. And I'll make sure that that book can get published. I won't put any news headlines in it or anything like that. And once that thing's printed, I think I'm gonna like buy a ton of copies and just put them in the back of my trunk and drive from city to city and let you guys know where I'm gonna be showing up next. And hopefully people in the area can meet on the dates that I schedule. I'm just gonna try to put together a grassroots book tour, and maybe by then, hopefully have enough money to hire somebody to come along with me, so they can kind of be like my wingman and help me, document, make some documentaries, film, photograph, that type of thing. So I used to have a video on the Zodiac killer and the letters he wrote and the dates of the letters, because if you just go look yourself, probably knowing what you already know, and just like look at the dates and do the date numerology calculations, you'll probably recognize a lot of numbers that we talk about often. Jeb Bush is portraying Indiana Governor Mike Braun. I don't know about this. Jeb Bush, Mike Braun. Are you saying that they're the same person? I don't think they're the same person. I don't know if that's what you meant. Jeb Bush is Mike Braun? I don't think so. Jeb Bush is probably somewhere washing daddy's feet right now. Huh. That's funny that headline that equates to that. Very interesting. Probably not an accident. Well, just because Mike Braun and Jeb Bush have similar birthdays doesn't mean they're the same person. It's a theory. Okay, you could be right. I could be wrong, but I just don't think that they're the same person personally. Yeah, most of these serial killers out here are just more fear propaganda. Read my book. I cover quite a few serial killers in the chapter Murder by Numbers, going all the way back to Jack the Ripper. In Canada, they will fire you from your job if you talk conspiracies. Exactly. You can't. It's just so sad. It's like you can't talk about the truth. It's 1984. Appreciate that, John Doe. John Doe, you guys, he's got the fermentation kits to make your own kimchi. I'm going to get some of that stuff, John Doe. Look for my order. I'm excited about it. We eat a lot of kimchi over here. You know what's funny? I live in this small little town, and I got this kimchi, and it was when I first moved here, and I was in the grocery line, and these two older white women were behind me, and one of them said, she goes, "What's that kimchi like? I've heard about that." And I said, "Well, it doesn't smell the best, but the taste is pretty good, and it's healthy for you. It's good for your digestion." And the other lady behind her was like, "I've heard of that kimchi too. Never had it." But it's just funny that just it started this conversation piece, the kimchi. It doesn't happen in Seattle. Seattle people are a little more familiar with kimchi. Out here, it was this foreign thing. Appreciate that, John Doe. Love to stop by your place. You can give me the hands-on lesson on what you know. Trisha G's working on how we can use the Gematria more for prediction. She's trying to improve what we've already done. Massive 47 ritual in hockey last night between the Washington Capitals. Well, we already know what's going on there, right? That's the land of 47. You can't get the Etsy link to work? Here, I'll link the book. See if this works. Oh, we got a new review. Not on 99 anymore. Linda writes, amazing information, very detailed. A lot of time was put into this ebook. Everyone should purchase. See, when I wrote it, it wasn't supposed to be an ebook. It was supposed to be an actual book, but then my publisher backed out. Everyone should purchase. You won't be disappointed. It opens up a whole new world about letters and numbers. Excellent customer service. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Here, see if that link works to get there. What? Error, try again. Huh. All right, here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to put a space between that D and see if it works. That's so if you try to use that link, you got to close the space between the D. Or no, that didn't work either, huh? It's blocking the. That's really weird that it's blocking my book. What is that about? How does it know to block my book? Okay. YouTube is hating. Somebody doesn't know what kimchi is. Kimchi, fermented cabbage. Right here. My girlfriend just came in. She's got the craziest look. She's like, why are you talking about kimchi? It's nothing. You want to say hello to the people?
Hi, dude.
Hi, dude. Hi, dude's what she's got to say. All right, you guys. The ladies here, again, when she comes in the room, that also means I'm supposed to get off. So have a great night, all. Appreciate the support. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for everyone who picked up the book today and in days past. For everyone who hasn't got the book, you know. Also, somebody told me you can do this with my book. You can go to Lulu. I think it's lulu.com. Yeah. You can take my book here, and then you can go to this publish for free once you buy my book, and then you can go to print book, and then you just upload the file. And I guess the cost to publish just a single book, my book, because it's nearly 800 pages, it's almost $40. So if you're willing to spend that much to have it printed on there, you can get that done. Somebody told me they had that done. So just a thought. Hey, don't forget to hit the like button before you go. Have a great night, all. Appreciate the support. Oh, yeah, Patreon. We're doing the daily exclusive podcast, an hour a day, every single day. All right, Truth Seekers, until next time.